the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
Hello, Miami. Thank you so much for watching 305 Sports Now. I am your host, Will, and welcome to 305 Live and doing some spring football talk. And the guest that I'm going to have on today is, I could say, one of the best at this when it comes to Miami Hurricanes content and also spring schedule, what's going on in recruiting, etc., etc., etc. And no introduction, but I must introduce this man as known as Mr. Miami Flo from the Flo Network. What's up, Flo? Oh, hold on. I got to fix this. There we
What's
go.
up? How's it going?
How you doing, man? Good, man. How about yourself, man? How's everything going?
Hey, man. Another day in paradise. God is still the greatest, and happy to be on the show with you.
Thank you, man. I greatly appreciate it. I have a question for you. I noticed that, you've lost some weight, and so on. So you did a great job. I think you're down on 25 pounds, like I heard you say on your show. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm going closer to 30 now. About 28, 29 right there. Getting closer to 30, just trying my best.
Nice, man. I'm very happy for you. Very happy. Have you been hitting the gym and stuff like that? I know that wasn't your thing about a year ago.
No,
when we talked.
I'm still allergic
or
to
is
the
it,
gym.
or just doing something different?
Yeah, I'm allergic to the gym still. I have, what I've done is I changed my eating habits. I am waking up really, really early, going for a walk. I'm trying to be more active, but honestly, all I changed was my diet and how much I'm eating. And I am a little more active, but nothing crazy. I just was eating so bad, right? I was eating so bad and not being active. And so it's been kind of fun. I mean, it was hard in the beginning. Now it's kind of, I'm used to it. So I don't think I'll go much lower, maybe a few more pounds, 5 to 6 more pounds, and then I'll try to sit around. We'll see. I'm just happy. I feel great. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, man. Yo, you looking good, bro. I just wanted to acknowledge that, dude. You've been killing it, man. So I'm very proud of you, as well. So that's awesome. Well, of course, let's talk a little Canes stuff, like the little Canes football and so on. All right, as well. Practice officially starts tomorrow. The guys have been working on their own for a while now, but practice officially starts tomorrow, March 24th. And it's speculated, I saw in Gemini that's not official, but it is speculated the spring game is going to be April 18th. Is that made official by the university yet, or is that still TBA?
I have it right here. Let me look it up for you. I have it on my I have it saved, so I can tell you right now. Yes, Saturday the 18th.
Okay, so it is official. Okay. I just want to make sure they said it was TBA. They weren't sure, but okay. Awesome. All right, so a lot of new faces. Okay, a lot of new faces on this football team. And one of the biggest questions is pretty much how the young guys, with the transfer portal guys, are going to be coming along and so on. There's a lot of talent in the wide receiver room in particular as well. So, but as far as spring goes, like, who do you think is going to stand out more in terms of the wide receiver position, and who do you think that we should be watching out for as time progresses?
Yeah, I mean, like the room is loaded, right? When is the last time we could say that it was completely loaded, right? We knew there's 3 or 4 guys that we would always get excited. I think you can go to about 7 now that you're excited. Yeah. I think the guy that's not getting enough buzz is a guy we brought in from South Carolina, last name Jacobs, right? Bartrevious, I think it's Bartrevious or something like that. Jacobs, I always butcher their first names pretty bad. He's a guy that we haven't really had a type like him in a while, right? It's a guy that takes the top off. Right now, everything you're hearing about him in shorts and shirts is that he might be the fastest guy on the team. That's not me saying it. That's just people talking around the program. That's saying a lot, right? That's saying a lot when you're talking about a wide receiver that's come in with a quarterback that struggled over at South Carolina a little bit, right? Their O-line was a little banged up. He was supposed to have a big year. He did. He still caught over 40 catches, but he was burning SEC guys. And, so you're talking about a dude that it has legit world-class speed. And I think that he's not getting enough buzz because we're excited. We want Josh Moore, right? We want Josh Moore to take that 3rd spot because, big recruit last year, big receiver, made some flash plays. Everybody wants him to take the next step, and he might. It's going to come down to his route running. But I think a guy that is not getting enough buzz, that will get buzz once the practice start, is going to be Jacobs, only because of the dynamic he brings. Not a lot of people have.
Yeah, I mean, I liked their core last year, to be frank with you, but it could honestly be said, with the exception of Malachi Tony, that many, especially the Boundary guys, didn't get much separation. It was very difficult to get much separation. All right, as well. The team obviously addressed that situation this past offseason by picking up guys like not just Jacobs, but also Cam Vaughn as well, who, from what I've heard, could cause some separation as well. As far as the young guys go, we've heard a lot of conversations about Samari and Wingo killing it, with the scout team prior to the playoff series as well against Ohio State. And we've heard stuff about Milan Paris as well. So which one of those guys do you think is going to get on the field rather quickly during the season?
Yeah, look, I echo what you're saying about Wingo. We knew, like us, that you yourself, myself, people that follow recruiting, we knew when we got him it was going to be a problem in that room because he was gonna come in and shake some stuff up. So far, he has not disappointed. Right, he's the guy that everyone's talking about. He looks a little different. Runs routes a little different in a good way, right? But Milan Paris is not a dude that just grows on trees, right? He might be able to be as tall as a tree, but 6'6", runs the way he's running. It's kind of you almost gotta be like, wow, this guy is really moving that fluid, and he's got that kind of speed at that size. So he is a little different, but I'm with you. The first guy you mentioned, I think, is going to shake that room up just because he's got that dog in him. Not saying that Paris doesn't, but I think Wingo has kind of made it apparent since he stepped on campus that, hey, look, I'm going to try to take some reps from you. I'm going to try to take some snaps from you. I don't care that I'm a true freshman. And he is making the plays. Now, no one's knocked his head off yet. He hasn't had a block, right? And things like that. But it's exciting to see the caliber of talent that he brings to the table. I'm with you, though. I think Wingo has a chance to get some reps this year.
Another question about Wingo. I might be exaggerating here, but I want to get your take, because I respect your perspective. He kind of reminds me of a young Michael Irvin. Am I exaggerating, or is there something to my statement?
I mean, I'll be, and this is no shot at Mike. I think he's more athletic. I think he's more athletic than Mike was. I mean, remember Mike at the time, if you remember, was a physical guy, right? Mike would beat you up.
Yeah, he would.
Little different. I think Wingo is more, and again, I'm not taking it away from Mike. Mike's one of the greatest, right?
Yeah.
But Wingo's more athletic. He's got a little more athletic ability, a little more wiggle, a little more change of direction. Not sure about the speed yet. I want to see him run with some pads on against some of our guys, but I don't know if I'd comp him. I'd comp the dog in him as a Mike. Urban was a dog, but Mike to me was a bully at wide receiver. He actually changed some of the rules in the NFL when he got in the NFL because he was beating up corners, right? So Mike Irvin is one of the greatest of all time for sure.
Yeah. Oh, the reason why, because I was thinking about it, and when it came to 50-50 balls, the physicality in certain situations, I just saw because Mike was different, because Mike was one of the first wide receivers to be called a tight end playing wide receiver. I remember when he was coming out of college and in the NFL. So I kind of saw that with Wingo. As far as challenge, like when I had a Zuby Charles on the show about a few months ago, I called him a game changer, based upon the fact that he dies for footballs. He doesn't mind hand fighting with guys, doesn't mind challenging, vertically any individual. So I kind of saw, a little bit of that Mike in him as well. So I wanted to get your take to see if I was if I was right to think that, or am I?
I agree with you.
I'm half class full guy, so that's just my take. That's what usually I am.
No. Listen, I think all those takes are good takes. And I would wager that he's more athletic though. He's got a little more change, a little more, stop on a dime, start up again than Mike did. And no shot at Mike. It's just I just think he is a complete guy. We got to see, can he block? Can he remember the plays? Can he show up on time to practice? But the clay is something pretty good to work with there.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So now with Mally, obviously now there's no secret on Mally anymore. But the fact is that with this wide receiver room, the way it's so loaded, how are teams going to defend Mally now, knowing that you have a Jacobs that could blow the top off of you if you decide to bracket Mally and double team him? So how do you think teams are going to plan now for someone like Malachi Tony? Because the guy's a dog. He's going to have another good year. He's not the type of guy that slacks off. And it's like, oh, they call me a freshman All-American. He's going to get better. Heck, I even heard he was working with the offensive line in terms of his hand placement and so on. So how do teams this year you think are going to try to cover what could be the Malachi Tony problem on defense?
Yeah, look, there's a guy we haven't mentioned yet, and I think that's the main issue, because if you come out in a 2-by-1 set and you put Mally and Cooper on one side and you put Jacobs on the other, and remember with Jacobs, you have to hold a safety over the top. Yeah. So what do you do? Because remember the way teams try to take away Mally was they try to bracket him. But if you put Cooper on the same side with him, you can't. And the main issue there, and I don't want to get too much into schematics, but I'll try to say it in a simple way. The main issue that's going to cause is you still have to put 8 in the box to stop Fletch. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do? Because before it was like, okay, they don't have anybody that can take the top off. The tight end room is non-existent. We can bracket Malachi and we'll put 8 in the box on Fletch, and we still made the natty. So I'm just saying, like, literally that's how everybody played us, right? Now what are you gonna do? Because Cooper, last time I checked, had over 1,000 yards over there, and everybody was trying to take him away at Duke, and they couldn't, right? Oh, and newsflash, his quarterback is the one that's throwing the ball over here to him. So you can't bracket Cooper and Mally. And then on the other side, you're not going to leave Jacobs without a safety over the top. So what? You want Fletcher to run crazy on you because you can't put 8 in the box? Or are you going to put 8 in the box and let whoever's going any one of those guys to kill you? The unique here's what I will say, and I think I said it on a show the other day that from the SEC that I was doing it, is Shannon Dawson is sleeping so good right now because the options that he has from a game plan standpoint, the way he can hurt you now is so different than any other time that he's been here. Would you agree with that?
No, absolutely. And we saw what happened with Cam Ward when he had a quarterback that actually ran his system the way he likes, and we had the number 1 offense in all of college football. And I think we have a top 5 offense, and I'm being conservative here because I think we could be number 1. We have a top 5 offense this year. So I honestly think that Shannon Dawson is sleeping very well, and I do think Shannon Dawson has a lot of tools to play with this season. Last year they adjusted to Beck and they adjusted to their personnel. Let's be frank. This year they have kind of like a hybrid quarterback between what is Carson Beck and Cam Ward. Yeah,
and the thing, you said it, like last year they adjusted, so we just played bully ball and let that defense kill everybody. I mean, I just, again, I try my best to not get in the Kool-Aid pool, but I just don't understand what teams are going to do to try to stop us, because it's from a weaponry standpoint. We're not talking about offensive line because there's a lot of questions there, but from a weaponry standpoint, what are you going to do to stop? Like, I'm being serious. Football. I know a little football. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'm curious to see what teams are how they're going to try to play us.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If you go short, we'll just go over you. And if you go and if you play off, we'll just go under. So I mean, that's pretty much what we're going, where it's going to be right now. This team right now has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to talent on offense. I mean, it really is. And really? and yeah, so absolutely. Go ahead, Flo.
No, I was just going to say, you got a 1,000-yard rusher, second quarterback in the nation last year, close to 4,000 yards, and 2 1,000-yard receivers. Like, what are you talking about right now? Like, who would? It's just funny because you and I have been here through the bad times. This is like a video game right now for us. Like going in, it's kind of funny. You have to admit it is. It's like, wow, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, and the best part about this season, and of course, it's still, like I always say, it's on paper. But the best part about this upcoming season, you don't start off with Notre Dame. You don't start off with Florida. You don't start off with Ohio State. You start with a team that you could beat up on. And then later on throughout the season, then you play your Florida States, your Clemsons, and then you go to Notre Dame. By that time, the team should be fully in sync, on both sides of the ball. So I'm really excited about the season. I honestly don't think this team should lose more than one game. If anything, I'll give Notre Dame that we're over there in South Bend. But I don't think there's a reason why this team can't just go with one, without just having only one loss, if any. And I think it should have 0 losses this year in the ACC. Clemson's not it this year. I mean, they might be a little better, but you gotta give them credit because they do recruit well decently. But the bottom line is that they're not the same team they were when they were winning national championships. Stanford, come on, bro. Like, really? I mean, FSU can't even afford to fire their coach. So, I mean, Miami is well positioned this year to not only win the ACC, but also get a playoff bye and put themselves in a position for another national championship.
I agree with you 100%. I'm sure we're going to get into it right now. I guess we all just want to see how the offensive line shakes up.
Yeah,
because I think the defense is going to be incredible. Claire, we just spoke about the weapons on offense. We got both coordinators back. I mean, we got some veteran leaders, right? We got a veteran quarterback. It's everything is aligned. The schedule's kind of chill. I like the schedule, right? You still got to play against a couple teams, but if we do show up, we should be fine, right? The Notre Dame game is definitely the tipping point, but let's see what that O-line looks like, right? I mean, to me, that is where all the attention should be. I mean, it's fun to talk about wide receivers because wow, like we have so many, but we got to see how that O-line shakes out, big man.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the O-line, as well. The offensive line, I kind of compared this group with the O-line group Mario's second year. And you had a freshman, Francis Marinoa. You had a Matt Lee, was your starting center. You had Javion Cohen, you had Jalen Rivers. But I kind of see some comparisons because it's really like it was kind of like a new line to per se, under Mario. I think this year, with the way the schedule sets up, the line can find some cohesion by the time we face our toughest games. What do you think?
Yeah, look, the exciting part is we have a lot of bodies that we can throw at it, right? Yeah. I think there's 7 guys that are fighting for 5, right? I think there's 7 guys that can generally win 5 spots. I mean, everyone wants to talk about, Rodriguez, but I'm a realist. He's never stayed healthy. So can he stay healthy? Who knows, right? Is McCoy or Sampson, can either one play tackle? We know they can play guard. Can they play tackle? All right. The greatest recruit of all time last year, right? Mr. Cantwell. Can he move quick enough to play tackle his first year, or do we have to start him inside first and then kick him out later? Right. Max Buchanan, the buzz of everything, right? That's the guy. He's the next one. But where do you put him? Because he can play some tackle, but everyone thinks he's going to play guard. And guess what? During December, he was taking center snaps.
Yeah.
So like, it's such an injury. And then everyone's talking about Wilkerson walking around looking like a duplex, right? And he's reshaped his body. And a lot of people that don't do their homework are going to go against me on this, but I say do your homework. We have bigger bodies than we had last year this year overall, which is nuts. Like, we were big last year on the O-line. Well, this O-line might actually be bigger overall than it was, because if Ben Cognan can move, he's another ginormous guy, right? So I think, and then you brought in the guy from, Georgia, which is Mayweather, right? And then what is he going to do? Is he a guy that can, and he's 6'7" also. So it's an interesting dynamic to me on how it shakes out, but I would lie to you if I told you I'm not concerned. What I'm not concerned about is they're going to get coached really well. Yeah. I know that. Size, not an issue. Work ethic, culture, not an issue. But how does this shake out? Because to me, Rodriguez is the only one that we know can play center, and he never stays healthy, ever. Right? So what happens if the trend continues and he is banged up? How does that work out? Is it Max Buchanan? SJ to me is not going to be big enough just yet, but who knows, right? Who's going to be the one that we're not talking about, Will? And in 4 weeks, we're going to be like, dude, I didn't expect this guy to step up, right? So the bodies that we can throw at it is exciting. It's definitely a deeper group from a Clay standpoint, but I have no idea how this shakes out. I mean, you and me can have fun and be like, oh, don't worry, McCoy can kick out the tackle. And that sounds great. But in realistic terms, how's this going to play out? Because you're not going to say, I know you're not, but no one's going to tell me that Cantwell can move like Francis did, because he can't. He can't. Francis was an unbelievable athletic guy, and a lot of people forget Francis struggled his first year. He had a bunch of holding calls, but we threw him out there in the fire because he was good enough. Cantwell did not play the competitions that Francis played at all in high school. He's seen different dudes. Strength-wise, he might be picking up houses and walking around with it because he's so strong. But I want to see how he moves. I want to see how he adapts to the speed. I want to see, if they do kick him inside for a little bit, because I actually think he could play guard no problem the first year. I'm curious to see if he could play tackle.
Okay, so if they do kick him inside, who would your pick for right tackle be if that's the case? Because I haven't played it as right tackle. I did take it in for the role of Mario. It seems like a lot of people feel the same way. So if
they
he is
better
kicked
do
inside,
their homework because
okay.
the guys are, here's I'm the bearer of bad news. You know that.
Okay.
Right now the MO on him is if he gets his hands on you, you're done. But he's struggling with speed rushers. He's struggling, and that's okay. Dude, we're 6 months away from where he has to be. That's okay. But I know he could play guard because when they have kicked him inside and they messed around, you're not getting around that guy. He's just, I say duplex. He might be an actual skyscraper, right? But the issue is if we do kick him inside, the only two guys remember, Pancake came in here as a tackle, got reps as a guard, and he's developed great, right? McCoy played some tight end, if you remember, in high school. And then they turn him into a tackle, and they love him. But I think they're going to try him at left tackle. I think that's the thing. So Mayweather maybe on the right. I don't know. Max Buchanan, they said in a pinch they can put him out. They love Max Buchanan. Like, absolutely
I know. I've heard.
Love him, right? They're like, he's their swing guy. He can play some guard. He can play some tackle. Beg Cognan, they just don't know if he's quick. He has the quick enough feet yet, right? So I don't know. I don't want to sit here and lie. If I had to guess, I think if you had to kick in Cantwell, I think you maybe try Pancake out there because he's got the feet. You got to have people that have the feet out there at the end of the day. And I don't know if you remember Pancake's drills that he used to post. It was incredible, right? He'd be on his knees and pop up and stand up at that size. I mean, he's definitely athletic enough. I just hope Cantwell can pick it up at the tackle because then we don't have to have this talk. And you give him some time between spring and in summer and then fall. And then he gets, he learns the speed of it. Then we're good. We can throw him in. Like you said, we have kind of a cool schedule in the beginning. So why not try him out? I'm all for it. I think he's going to be great. The speed is getting him a little bit right now.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of speed at the end position, so it's like it's literally baptism by fire because he's got to deal with Lightfoot, Scroggins, Lowe, as well Pickett, those guys, Wilson, those guys will definitely train you as far as getting your footwork nice and right and ready. Yeah, and I remember everybody forgets, man. Samson was like Mauino was 1, Okunola was 2, in that recruiting class. So I mean, like. The problem with Okunola was his health. Like Okunola kept getting hurt in practice. So I mean, so I'm glad he stayed the course and he stayed with the team because he showed a lot of positive signs over at the guard position. Like I said, I'm not worried about the line. I mean, I know that I get everybody's concerned. I'm not worried about the line. I think we have the talent and we have the coaching staff to coach these guys up right as well. And don't be surprised if Max Buchanan does start because I've heard he's had his eye on center for a while. So that's one thing I have heard. No, and he's a giant. I saw him a couple spring games ago.
Everybody talks about him. Will, like I agree with you. If I was betting, I think Max is starting somewhere on the offensive line. I don't know where yet, but I don't think they're going to keep Max off the offensive line.
I mean, but I think the man has his eye on center. That's the one thing I have heard. He wants to be center, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. This upcoming season or spring. We'll see what happens in spring and see if Mario surprises everybody to see that be the case. All in all, it's nice because even though we're only worried because about the inexperience, not because there's a lack of talent or a lack of depth. Because the 7 guys brought in, this class of recruiting cycle, they're all dogs, man. They're absolute monsters. They're all monsters. So I'll be excited about that. Going over to Mensa. Okay, going over to Mensa as well. Love the numbers. Almost 3,000 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, only 6 picks. Very efficient with the football. Not afraid to challenge downfield. Okay, how scary is this? And also very, very good with his feet. All right, everybody talks about he'd rather be a pocket passer, but like Cam, he likes moving around with his feet. All right, how dangerous, all right, is Miami's offense going to be now with the quarterback that now teams have to count for that could run on them?
Yeah, look, I'm sure you were like I was the night before the portal was closing, and we're like, what's going on here? Like, what's going on? And then we start hearing the Mensa stuff, right? And then we're like, no way, holy moly, right? Oh, that guy would be great. And then we're all going to dig into his tape immediately, right? Okay, let me go see. And look, there's very, very little not to like with this guy. This guy's a complete guy. I mean, if you can do that at Duke with one receiver, You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no disrespect to Duke, but y'all are a basketball school. Let's just keep it a
Yeah.
buck, right? Shout out to your basketball team, 100%. But I think this could be the most complete quarterback that we brought in a while. Now, look, Cam Ward is Cam Ward. Like I'm
Absolutely,
not even,
yes.
I'm not. I want to make sure that I say that. But I loved what you said earlier. I hadn't heard anybody say that, and I agree with it 100%. I think he's a combination of Carson and Cam Ward. I really like that you said that because I see that too now. I didn't at first, but when you said it, I went, wow, I definitely see that. A guy that can throw it around a little bit, move a little bit, has a little sass to him, has a little alpha to him, but also has no problem throwing the check down. He's smart. I really like that comp that you did, that like that little mixed comp. I'm gonna probably use it. I'm gonna steal it from you because I like it.
It's yours, buddy.
I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic with Mensa, especially because Cooper came over. It's like the guy that he just doo-dooed on everybody with. I'll just bring him too, and just like I'm just saying. And now you saw the pictures and the videos, and Mally's out in Cali with him with Upshot. Like so. It's an embarrassment of riches. I think Mensa, it was the smartest business move he could have made was to come to Miami for sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Before we continue on with the football, just to answer Aiden Malik's question, I think eventually, he's young enough. He knows how to recruit. NIL is going to help, and I do think that there might be some incentives for these maybe teetering first round NBA guys to stay a little longer in college now because of NIL. So yeah, I think Coach Lucas eventually may win a championship with the Canes. Okay, so yeah, that's just my take. All right, so yeah, like I said, I'm very happy about this as far as it goes. The running back room as well. It's very stacked, right? It's absolutely stacked. Fletch is probably going to start the first game. How do you think the rotation is going to be as far as running backs go?
I mean, I'm the guy again. I just call it how it is. Fletcher's my favorite guy because everything he brings to the table and what he proved in the playoffs will never be taken away from him. I mean, we just jumped on his back, right? And in the playoffs, and it was just ridiculous what he did. So to me, Fletch is the dog in there. He's the alpha. But if Jordan Lyle's healthy, no one's going to beat him. Everyone knows that. Like that's around the program. I'm sure you know the same. Like everyone knows Jordan Lyle is by far the most talented back in there. The problem is he was dinged up a little bit last year. Then he got into the doghouse, right? Shocked that he came back. Good job by the staff to keep him. I don't know how they did it because I know there was 2 schools that were all over him. Jordan Lyle is unbelievable. He's an NFL just freak that's gonna, if he stays healthy. But I like Marty Brown a lot too. Like I remember watching Notre Dame with last year, and then this guy from North Dakota comes in and he just runs over everybody and just carries us. So that room is insanity to me. And then, then you got the one that's the pretty. I call him the pretty. You got Pringle there who just is like a rocket. Like, I mean, so you said it. It's an embarrassment though. Like when has that room, how long since a room is that loaded? And we're not even talking about, the dude from down here from Broward that was hurt that couldn't get on the field last year. He was healthy a little bit. The
Willie Humphrey.
Yes. Hellcat. We're not even talking about him because remember he was banged up. We didn't have to bring him along fast. We could bring him nice and slow. We don't even need him. He didn't even really got to play. Right now he's healthy. He's practicing. We're not even talking about him. And he's another one. You know how hard it is to rush in South Florida for 2,000 yards?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
That's insanity. But listen, whoever you pick, I'm gonna say yes because that room is a joke. Like if you say, well, Flo, I really like Marty Brown. Okay, I'm not gonna push back. I will say Jordan Lyle by far though is from another planet if he's healthy.
Yeah, I just hope that he could do it with better competition. Like the knock on Jordan Lyle from the fan base, not really me, because he was very highly recruited coming out of STA. He was committed to Ohio State for a bit, and then of course we flipped him as well, which feels great. We flipped somebody from that school as well. But we saw some flashes the year Cam was here, and then last year, he actually started. Let's forget he actually started over Fletch in the Notre Dame game, and then once he got hurt, he was never the same. Tried doing a little bit too much. That was the ascension of Pringle. So hopefully he has a much better year. Wouldn't be surprised if he's RB2 behind Fletch. I think Fletch is RB1. Would be surprised he's RB2 and Marty's RB3. It doesn't matter. Like the rotation order that you want to have. It doesn't. It's still going to destroy teams. So
It's
even
whatever you
Pringle as
want.
well.
Whatever you want, dog.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And the good thing about Fletch, he doesn't mind being RB2. He's very humble about it. It doesn't bother him. He knows he's going to get touches as well.
Keep him fresh until Notre Dame. Keep him fresh until Clemson. Keep him fresh into the playoffs. Like I'm all, let all those other guys eat. Fletch knows what time it is.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny though, because one of the things about Fletch was that is basically his speed, that he's just a power guy. That run against Indiana where he outran everybody.
See ya.
See it. Pretty much everybody. I remember telling Fletch's mom at when he's incoming freshman at Canes Fest. I told his mom, I go, your son can run away from people. And she said to me, what does that mean? She's like, no, I mean, like he knows how to separate. He's always a big, powerful guy, but if he gets a chance, he could run away from people. And that run vindicated me, man. That was 100%. Such a beautiful run, right between the gap, and he just took off. So I'm excited to see more of that this upcoming season. Let's see, we have a new running back coach, so things might be a tad different. Yeah, it depends on how you see the rotation. You're absolutely right, Aiden. But that's just my projection, right? It's my projection. I know Fletch for me is gonna be RB1. I think RB2 and 3 might be between Jordan Lyle and Marty Brown.
Aiden, remember, I'm sure you watched the show. If Jordan Lyle is healthy, not one person that knows that room is going to tell you otherwise. I'm telling you. I mean, Fletch is always going to start. They're not taking Fletch out of starting unless they want to just not get him hurt. I agree with Will. But I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the season, regular season, not playoffs, if Jordan Lyle has the most carries overall, because they're just going to work him, and they're going to try to make sure that Fletch is nice and healthy and no issues with him, because Fletch is the dog. He's your bell cow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I want to get now into the defense a little bit. Where we discussed the line, the running backs. There seems to be some concern about the linebacker position as well, with Bopel transferring, Torrey coming back, and then who's going to be alongside Mo. And how do you see the linebacker position? Are you a bit more like a little skeptical about it, or are you positive about the room because the talent is there? Like they recruited that room very well, and there's a lot of players we're excited for, but they are inexperienced. So what is your take on the linebacker room? Do you think that we'll see some guys emerge coming out of spring?
Yeah, look, I understand. I just think that, a lot of people don't go back and watch the tape. Popo was a favorite of a lot of people because first the name, nice kid, all of them was good, but there's a reason why he didn't start. There's a reason why he had a little bit of bad tape. There's a reason why he transferred. I mean, I liked Popo a lot. I just the people that played last year was Chase Smith, Torrey, and Wes. Those were the three real dudes. And you got two of them back. I mean, you literally got Chase and Torrey back, right? And the reason that they came back was, a little more money from NIL, of course. But the veteranship, look, since Corey Heatherman came here, that room did not suffer. That room got a lot better last year. I mean, the only time there was some issues was in the beginning of the year when they put Torrey in space. Once they found out they couldn't put Torrey in space and they moved the way they played him, that's second part of the year. Go look at Torrey's tape the second part of the year. That guy became very good for us in the second part of the year. Chase was solid as a rock. Knows this is the defense that fits him. He's healthy. Bring him back. To me, the issue is Bonner going to stay healthy, right? And can he be the person that they brought him in to be? Because remember, he got banged up when he got here from NC State. So he never could actually get back on the field for real. Now, the fight is what? You got Wiley and Pruitt, right? Can Pruitt put on the weight, and can Wiley learn the defense? That's the battle, because you and me, I mean, Chase and Torrey are the starting linebackers. There's no way, like they're not getting beat out, right? Now, who's the other guy? Because the tape is the tape. I don't have to like the guy. I don't have to. But those guys were really good in the second part of the year, not the first part of the year. First part of the year, Torrey, they kept putting Torrey in coverage. Ay Dios mío, right? we were like, what? We thought, oh, maybe his knee's not the right. Then they didn't do it anymore, right? Then they let him just go kill people, basically. And he was, God, was he good in the playoffs, right? He was really good in the playoffs. Chase was solid as a rock. Wes was the other dude. Wes is the guy you got to replace. And then you have pretty much the same linebacker core that took you to the damn dance last year. Who's that going to be? Some people think if it's Bonner, if he's healthy, I think it could be between Wiley, Pruitt, and Bonner. Now, to tell you, they're really high on Edwards. They're really, really high on Edwards. But what do you know about linebacker? We don't know Gaga until they put the pads on, right?
Yeah, I have a dark horse for you, only because only because I work with his I think it's his cousin, and I've seen some tape on him in special teams. What about Ezekiel Marcelin? He's a big guy, pretty fast, hard hitter.
Yeah, he's great. He just I love Zeke, bro. Zeke, I'd go watch his high school games here. I love him.
Yeah.
That's a great call by you. That's a great, like, if someone's gonna shake the room up, it will be Zeke, because he's fast too. He's really fast.
He's a headhunter too.
Dude, I can't believe I actually think he could be the wild card. I agree with you. 100%. I think he could be the wild card. Good call. Really good call.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So secondary, let's talk secondary. Then we'll go into our favorite part, which is defensive line. All right. How good are we this year? I'm excited about our defensive backfield.
Nation, right?
Yes.
They have to be the best in the nation. You got Poyser coming back. I mean, that's easy, right? Then you got Fitz is going to be next to him. And then you brought in, clearly an All-American in Horton to play the nickel, right? But the best guy is not even, he hasn't even played it down yet, and everyone's gonna go, shut up, Flo. Okay, but remember I say JJ Dunnigan is taking one of their spots. I don't know who it's gonna be yet, but I'm just letting y'all know he's gonna take somebody's spot.
No, you're not. You're not speaking out of turn. I've been hearing that too. That JJ. Yeah, I think even Donald said that Dunnigan might see a lot of playing time this upcoming season. He might be this year's Bryce Fitzgerald. So you're not the only one. I've heard a lot of good things about that young man. Dude. So you're not speaking out of turn on that one, son. Oh, and by the way, the Thornton, I agree with you. Thornton is not going to play linebacker. He'll be a nickel. He's probably going to take that Keontae Scott role.
Yep.
But thanks for the comment, Aiden.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, Thornton's 6'2", runs like a deer, hits like a truck. I mean, and he can play. And here's the thing: as long as he can learn the defense, he's taking somebody's spot. And even the players, like, everyone knows, like, wow, we got a dude here. Like, which is great, because you need another, like, what makes Heatherman's defense last year, we just had Coach Hayes on, and he brought up a good point. You had three safeties that could play all three spots. So you never knew. So you had Scott, Thomas, and Poyser on the field, and all three of them were interchangeable, right? Yeah. So it was really tough for the offensive coordinator to know which one's playing the free, which one's playing the strong, which one's playing the nickel. Like, no one knew. So Poyser's coming back. Fitz is coming back. And then Horton, you already seen him, what he does. Like, that guy's just plug and play, right?
Yeah.
And now you integrate. Remember Ryan Day? I almost said Ryan Day. Wow.
Dylan Day.
Wow.
Dye beard.
I literally almost said it. Dylan Day got snaps last year, right?
Yeah, he
did. And I think that Dunnigan is definitely going to be in the mix here, but some people think that guy that maybe didn't do so great from a off the field stuff from Florida State that we recruited, that in the safety room now can be a contributor, right? That's Hussey, right? Conrad Hussey. We'll see, but the cornerbacks is you think the wide receiver room is a plethora of, like, who's going to start at cornerback? Like, who's going to start? If Damari's healthy, what do you do? Right? Like, I'm just saying, like, and then you brought in Seatbelt, Jalen Waters, and then you have, oh my God, Will, we can talk about the receivers all you want, but that DB room is flooded with talent. I don't know how they're going to rotate those guys. I really don't.
Jabari Antoine, Brody Jennings, Chris Ewald, you mentioned Seatbelt as well, Camden Portis, and you got, of course, OJ Frederic, Xavier Lucas as well. Ethan O'Connor's coming back as well. So besides, I don't want to Ethan O'Connor hate, bro. Those passes were perfect. Those back shoulders.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't want anybody talking crap about that poor young man, dude. Those back shoulders were perfect. I want our secondary to catch the football, be good at coverage, but come down with the football. Yeah, that was just one game. Aiden, I understand what you're saying, but that was just the Ole Miss game. Okay, and there's curses in the Fiesta Bowl.
yeah.
In general, but our DBs were ball hawks last year. Jacoby, Bryce got 7 picks as a freshman. So we got ball hawks. We got balls. I'm excited to see Jabbar again this year, and I'm excited to see Seatbelt. You like tape, man. Like, if you watch Seatbelt's tape, you don't see the receiver. Like, he totally blankets them completely. It's a beautiful thing to see. As far as what you want out of your recruits, right? As well.
I agree with
absolutely.
you. And if you watched him on the 7-on-7 circuit, he always covered the other team's 5-star.
Yeah.
Like, and he like Will said, it looked like a shadow.
Yep.
It was like a shadow on the guy. Yes, look, I don't know what Miami's doing, but talent is not going to be an issue here. That's a fact.
Yeah, and let me tell you, 7-on-7 and so on. It's been great for skill position players. That teaches them how to run better routes, in my opinion. Teaches them how to cover as well. It's a much more open field. It's much more open field. So you have to do your job. That's for darn sure. All right, now my favorite, the D line. Yes. All right. The interior. All right. What do you see, my friend? I see Ahmad Moen and Justin Scott. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, unless something weird happens, right? I can't even tell. I was blessed to find out a couple of days before that Moten was coming back, and I was already jumping around my house running crazy because I think he having that kind of alpha in the room, just as a leader, we already know what he does when he's healthy, right? Ahmad is going to be a dog there. There's not many D tackles in the country that can stop the run and rush the passer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's that combo guy. Justin Scott, right? Big, light feet, started coming into his own. I agree with you. I don't see a world where those two guys are not the starter.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Backup stuff we should be looking at. When he was being recruited, I like Jarquez Carter.
Yeah, me too.
Out of Ohio State. How many do you see him getting a lot of reps this year for the team?
I didn't follow him at Ohio State. I'll be honest with you. I was really disappointed when we didn't get him.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was right there. It was down to us in Ohio State, and we didn't get him. And you have to think Miami knows something because they were very aggressive with him when he got in the portal to get him. There's not much to like, size, speed, length. The guy is the real deal. I do expect him to have something to say for sure.
Yeah, at the end position, man, like that's another embarrassment of riches. Cole McCarthy had to move to tight end. Notice we didn't talk about that on offense, right. But Cole McCarthy had to move to tight end because the fact that a guy with 23.5 sacks, it just wasn't enough room for him, amongst the rotation. So I'm gonna throw out some names and you tell me what you think. Booker Pickett,
lightning quick, super fast, definitely a package guy.
Okay, Hayden Lowe.
I think he's going to be a starting on one side.
All right, David Wilson.
I'm a little different with David Wilson, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because as a pass rusher, one of the best in the nation, and no one can deny that. But setting the edge and against the run, which is not sexy, but it has to be sexy in our type of defense.
Yeah,
he didn't do the best job, and I personally don't think he's better than a guy that's going to beat him out. I think Armando Blunt is gonna beat him out. I would almost wager anybody that's watching this show that Armando Blunt will start somewhere on that defensive line. Anybody. Okay. I'll wager anybody in here. Y'all can DM me. I'll take it. I'm taking all the bets.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because I really liked him at the tackle position, but I've also been hearing that he could play the mezzler position, which was the DN as well for a few years. There's a lot at the ends, okay? Even incoming freshmen like Deontay Lafayette, if you look at his film, he's a rocket, off the block.
Super fast.
Exactly, with pads on, by the way, and so on. So you think that Blunt will take one of their spots?
Blunt is starting on that defensive line. He's an inside-out guy. He's just... Look, okay, watch this. Ready? Look at the D line we had last year, and Blunt was the first guy that would come in.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying, right? Look what we had last year, right? And who was the first guy coming in for any of them? He would come in for Mezzi. He'd come in for Bain. He'd come in for. Blunt would be the first one, and that guy is remember, he was a big time 5-star, but he was a puppy when he got here. Because he reclassified.
Exactly.
Now you're talking about a guy that literally can play inside out starting for us on either side. And then you have Hayden Lowe is just an anomaly. But the word out there, and I'm sure you're going to get to it because it's a guy that we brought in from Nebraska, which is Keon Davis, who is an inside out guy, 6'5", 270, and played a lot at Nebraska, right? Inside out. So what does he do? Because in this defense, you have to set the edge, right? That's how we play it. We don't just play, hey, let's go rush. I mean, unless it's a 3rd and long or something like that. I mean, our base defense, our DNs have to contain with the style, right? With the style that we play. So to me, as a pass rusher, okay, Damon Wilson is unbelievable. But you go watch what he did. He struggles against the run. And then I know you're about to bring in Lightfoot. Like, what do we do with Lightfoot?
Yeah.
Can he put on the weight? Because a little bit of time that he played, he was making plays. Right? Like, I mean, you remember Lightfoot play what? 10, 12, 15 snaps and have 2 tackles and a sack.
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell's going on?
Listen, for all the talk about him needing to put on size, I think Bo Jackson has nightmares of that young man from the semifinal game, because Lightfoot trucked him and ran him over to get to saying.
Facts.
I mean, yeah, and he's a nice young man too. I had the pleasure of meeting him at a spring game, and I think that he's going to start at end. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he's going to be your starting end. Yeah, great. I think he's a lot stronger, because people look at him, oh, he's like, but he's a lot stronger. He gets credit for, and he's also lightning quick as well. And he has a good first step. And he will get to the quarterback. Like, it doesn't matter if the quarterback runs opposite side of him, he will get him. Like, ask what's this guy's name from the one that could have hit a wall. What's his name? Oh my gosh, from Florida. His name escapes me.
He's at Baylor now, right?
Yes. His name escapes me.
Yeah, there we go. We're talking about the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, DJ Lagaway.
Yeah,
DJ Lag. He caught DJ Lagaway on the other side of the field.
Let me ask you this question.
That was Lightfoot.
Did you just ready? Lightfoot, former 5-star.
Yep.
Hayden Lowe, 5-star.
Yep.
Blunt, 5-star. Scroggins, borderline, depending on where you were at, high 4-star, 5-star. That's just the defense end. And wait, Damon Wilson, 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 guys I just named that are 5-stars, and we're not even talking about Scott, who's a 5-star, right? It's disgusting. I don't know anybody who has 6 5-stars on the defense in the defensive line room. I don't know anybody. I really don't. And I follow recruiting. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that has 6 legit, like, honest to God, not like we're trying to boost them up.
Of course.
5 stars, right? Like, think about that. So if Lightfoot starts, I'm good with that. Like, he's the truth. Like, I love him. It's just Hayden Lowe's an anomaly. That's the problem. Like, there's no one like him on our squad right now. Like, he's just humongous, super fast, violent, listens, and he's technically getting really good. Like, he's, to me, like what Phillips was. That now they just, hey, shout out to Phillips for getting that big contract with the Carolina Panthers. How about that? That's wild. But he's one of those, like, you're just like, okay, that guy's just is a different dude. To me, the battle is the other side. Is it Lightfoot? Is it Wilson? Is it Blunt? Is going somewhere. Like, they love him. He does everything they want him to do. Oh, you had to start inside, no problem. You need to play strong side, no problem. You need to play weak side, no problem. So I'm really excited for that room. Miami D-line build past Clemson D-line. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Look, I have nothing bad to say about Clemson. I don't like their coach, but I would be an idiot to tell you that they haven't had a really good program for the last 10, 15 years. I'd be an idiot to tell you that. It's just, we'll see. We're about to see, because I think I agree with Will. I think they'll be a little bit better. I just don't know if they have the waves that because remember, we can throw waves at you now.
Yeah.
It's not just the first wave. The guys that are coming in. So let's say Will's right and Lightfoot's at one end and Wilson's on the other, right? Okay, now we take them out. Hayden Lowe comes in. Scroggins or Blunt comes in, right? Like, this is literally what's happening. Keanu Davis, who just played in the Big Ten like a lot and did really well. Like, this is the waves. Oh, defensive backs, no problem. We could take 4 defensive backs off the field and bring in another 4 that come right in. No issues. It's wild to me. It's wild.
No, absolutely. So like I said, and I'm excited. Just the depth and the waves that we have. We have talent, depth, experience. Like my buddy Q likes to say. As well. But you mentioned recruiting, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, because you are a product of rivals, okay, as well. So you have a lot of the understanding of the insides of how things work. And one of the things that really do bother me in general is that I do see some guys that should get better rated, have more stars to them. Ruben was one of them coming out of high school. He could never crack past that 4-star mark. And then, of course, Malachi Tony, some circles, was a 3-star. Right, as well. How does that work? Like, how do you guys come up with that kind of those star rankings?
Yeah, look, when I was with Rivals, which was years ago, we were the only thing out there, right?
Yeah.
So at the time, you only could do stuff that you got eyes on, and then if people would send you in, don't let everybody laugh. Their VCR, tape, right? And some of y'all are like, what's that? Then you could get some stuff, but only when you got eyes on them, and you didn't have the cookie cutter, which was now the cookie cutter is how tall is a guy, right? What position does he play? How tall do I project him to be? How fast do I project him to be? So now, because technology has advanced so much, a lot of people are getting eyes on these guys, but they use a different system. And even people like myself and you, we're still confused on what some of these people are seeing.
Yeah.
Right. For example, you brought up a very good example. What did you need to see from Malachi Tony in high school that he wasn't very good? The guy started at quarterback and wasn't a quarterback and literally was really good at quarterback, right? And won the state championship, right? Like insanity. And before that, no one could cover him. And if you did your homework on him, he played really good schedule in South Florida, meaning like South Florida schools that play those kind of schedules, they play all other schools that 4 and 5 star guys. So you couldn't tell me it was a competition. You couldn't tell me he didn't have position versatility. You couldn't tell me he didn't have IQ. You couldn't tell me that he didn't have results. Like, he checked every box, but oh my God, he's not 6'2" and he's not running a 4.3. So guess what? Let's make him a 3-star. Ruben Bain, funny enough, was a 3-star before he became a 4-star for a long time. And then he had the game against IMG, right? And then the first year, he broke the sack record. And we were like, blah, blah, blah. They put him on the radar. They moved him up to a 4-star. People were still like, why is he a 4-star? Then that last year, they had the IMG game, and they moved him outside, inside, other side of the line. And it was crazy. And then it was like, oh, this guy can do it against good competition. But they didn't realize he played at Central. That's all they played was that kind of competition. And he broke his own record. Excuse me. He tied his own record the very next year, which was his last year, the sack record. So I talked to these guys. You talked to some of these guys. You have them on your show. Even they're like, hey, man, we just don't got enough people to get eyes on these people. I think that they try to justify a lot of their stuff. But some stuff to me, Will, is common sense. You know, like, you tell me what you look at in Malachi's high school that you're not like, oh, that guy's a 5-star. Like, what do you see there that you would not make him at least, let's say, a high 4-star?
Bro, I saw that kid get draped on by some of the best corners that Chaminade had to offer and still scored on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Ruben Bain, like Ruben Bain, and when he was like, I covered his recruitment. Mm-hmm. There was a sequence where the quarterback stepped up. I didn't see Ruben Bain over pursue. I saw Ruben Bain stop on a dime and still crack that young man. I mean, and then I asked, I think it was Donna whom I asked, like, well, why is he still a 4-star? And I think one of the things they talked about was his height. You know, that he wasn't like 6'4". I'm like, who freak cares, bro? So if you're 6'4" and have 5 sacks, you're a 5-star. Whereas you're 6'2" and you have 25, you're a 4-star. Like, that made no sense to me. So, I mean, I just think sometimes the way I've heard like the measurables are done by some of these organizations is just ridiculously dumb. It makes no sense to me. I also heard, and you can clarify this for me, if the kid isn't very social, that also hurts your ranking. Is that correct?
Depends on
that's what I've heard.
Depends on the company that's doing the recruiting. I don't want to throw anybody on the bus, but what I call it, and it's true what you brought up. It's the cookie cutter thing. They have like a kind of like a metric. And if the guy falls in this metric, he's this. If he falls in this metric, he's this. If he does a lot of camps, yippee-ki-yay. If he doesn't do any camps, well, no, but it's true. It is so true. And look, I don't know how many people on the air will tell you this because I don't work for them anymore. But I can tell you that those guys get much better ratings. They do the camps. That do the interviews with them, right? They give them the time, like you said, the social part. Like, oh, that I talked to him, the nice guy. No, he just doesn't want to talk. Like, so then that means he must not be very good, So I do think that there is some bias to the social part. But what we say, and I think you agree with this, is tape is tape, bro. You can't. There's no like. If I watch a tape and you watch a tape, you and I are probably going to see the same thing, right? So what are we talking about? At the end of the day, I think they're getting better. I do think that the On3 and the rivals kind of getting together I think that helps, right? They're getting more resources. The analytics are getting better. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but I do think it's better today than it was 3 years ago. Now, There's a couple guys right now that I'm confused that may or may not turn into Hurricanes very, very soon, like this week, maybe. I don't have a clue how they're ranked, what they're ranked. Like, I don't have like, it is mind boggling to me. Someone like Hippolyte, how he is not an, oh my God. How about Sherrod? Sherrod is, he's going to start his second year here. Man, his first year is going to be tough because of our room, but his second year, he's starting here. He's like really good. And they got him I think they have him as a 3-star most outlets right now.
I think Hippolyte as well. I saw he was a 3-star.
Yes, but that's my point. It's like, Will, if you watch him, you're going to be like, holy cow. And then look at his offer sheet. You're telling me that people from Georgia don't know what the hell they're looking at? You're telling me people from Miami don't know what they're looking at? You're telling me people from Florida don't know what they're looking at? Now, if his offer sheet was, and I mean no disrespect, but like Coastal Carolina or Idaho State, or okay, maybe it's Miami thinking it's a project, right?
Yeah.
Look at their offer sheet. Just it's all the dudes that recruit that like are like really good at evaling, but you got him as a 3-star. What are we talking about here? You seen Josh Johnson from Key West? They barely got him as a 4-star. That dude is a freak. Like, I don't know. Will, I've talked to them. I've known them. I've had a relationship with them. I think they're just doing their job, and they're, making sure that they're getting a little bit of their pocket change that they need, and they give us, what they can, but some stuff just doesn't make sense, right? Like both of the guys I mentioned, if you put on their tape and I said, can you rate them for me? First of all, look who they're playing against. And second, what do you think of the tape? You're not going to give me a 3-star. You're just not.
Yeah. One of my closest friends, Coach Gross, shout out to him. He coached at Norland when they had all those good DBs, and he said they had no answer for Malachi Tony at all when they played Heritage. They had no answer for him, and that team had some talented DBs. You can make a case of the best DBs in South Florida, collectively speaking, that Norland team, and he said flat out that they couldn't know about that young man. So that's what I'm saying. Is like, where are you guys getting your rankings, your ratings from? Because it's like it's sometimes it boggles me what these guys come up with.
Yeah, and the thing that's crazy to me is like if this is what you do, right, and you're going around and you're checking stuff out, there should be something for IQ. If you watch Malachi Tony play, now I'm not even talking about college, because college everyone sees it now, but just in high school, you knew he was the smartest player on the football field. Like that's the smartest player on the football field for a fact, and he's destroying you on top of that, right? But he's not. I would bet he doesn't run a 4.3, and we know he's not the tallest. But why is he so good? Yes, he knows how to play the game. He understands it. But a kid that can do that at wide receiver and then switch over to quarterback and take his team to the state championship game, and I think he was, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the chat or in the rewind, I think he was like 22 of 24 or something crazy like that as a quarterback in the state championship game. Like, yeah, how about IQ? Can we talk about his IQ? And then he comes to Miami, and as a true freshman, and he's the best player on the freaking football team.
Yep.
Get out of here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So so like I said, I wanted to get your take on it. Like I said, I really respect what you have to offer, and your knowledge from the ins and outs of the college football game as well. Not just Canes, man, amongst other teams as well. But we've almost reached an hour here, and before we let Flo out, let Flo go. Before
I know what we're doing.
Yeah, before I go, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I'm an '80s guy. I was born in the 1980s, and I'm proud of it. We recently lost an '80s action hero legend who we thought would never die. And that man's name is Chuck Norris. All right, Chuck Norris recently passed away, shockingly, because he's in good health at the time, passed away recently this past Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And rest in peace. And my condolences to him and his family. From what I've heard, everyone that's worked in the industry with him has had nothing bad to say about the guy, either in martial arts or in Hollywood as well. People that normally wouldn't agree with his politics all came out and gave him their respects and said some nice things about him. So it's good to see that go along. But the one thing about Chuck is that he kind of evolved as time went on. He did the action stuff, then he did the Texas Ranger show, which I was a fan of, I'm not gonna lie to you, as well, for 8 seasons. But he became, like, in the mid 2000s, these two young guys got bored and they started creating memes about him, and he was a good sport. He actually published the memes as well. about himself. So I told Flo before we came on, I want him to do his best 3 Chuck Norris jokes that he's heard. All right, and just for the tribute of Mr. Norris. So you got your 3, Flo?
I got 2.
You got 2. Okay, I got 3.
I got 2.
Okay, go.
So the funniest one I heard was Chuck Norris can make a Happy Meal cry. So I thought I was like, that's pretty funny. And then one that you're just like, dang, he's like, Chuck Norris can breathe underwater. And I was like laughing because I'm thinking, I visualize stuff, right? And he became like a kind of like a Superman, right? And I like that one that Chuck Norris can breathe underwater. But the funniest one that I heard was, I mean, think about it, because a Happy Meal, we all grow with him. Chuck Norris can make a Happy Meal cry. How about you? You gotta give me a couple.
Okay, before I go to mine, I just have to say, like, I saw Expendables 2 this week with my wife. Like, I had it after he passed away, and what I liked about Expendables 2 is my favorite of the franchise because they all made fun of each other's, stereotypes of how they are as actors. And the one scene, they all ran out of ammo. If you haven't seen Expendables 2, sorry, it's been out for like 15 years. It's your fault. But they all ran out of ammo. Yeah, exactly. They all ran out of ammo, and everything just explodes. All these guys start getting shot and dying. Like, what happened? And he just comes out by himself. And I remember the whole theater was laughing. Okay, so he played, and he had, I said, a good sense of humor. He told one of his own jokes, but I'm not going to use that one. That's a very famous one. I'm going to use these 3. Okay. All right, starting off with a very simple one. It says, Freddy Krueger has nightmares of Chuck Norris.
Yep. I heard that. I like that one. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. The second one might anger some of the ladies if they're watching me, but I thought it was really funny. It said Chuck Norris showed up to a feminist march and came out with his clothes ironed and holding a sandwich.
No, that one, I actually like that one better.
Bro, it was great, man. That one cracked me up. Yeah. And the last one, this is one of the first ones. No one's used it. That's why I'm using it now. It said, our trailer park got blown away. They thought it was an F5 tornado, but no, it was Chuck Norris executing a roundhouse.
Has there ever been a better American actor martial artist?
No,
right?
No, he's the GOAT. Not right? David Carradine had to learn kung fu to do kung fu. Yep. The funny thing about Chuck, and just because you stroll online, you see these things. He didn't get into karate until he was 18 in the military. He started very late. He started very late. He served in the Korean War, and I think he started learning martial arts at the age of 18 and just fell in love with it. And he was the fight coach for Steve McQueen.
When did he get on your radar?
Oh my God, man. My mother and my father were huge Chuck Norris fans. I would say my mom even more, because when Hulk Hogan died, it hurt me a lot, because that was a connection to my dad, because my dad was a wrestling fan. He used to take me to the events. But I was telling my wife, I'm like, it's kind of a blend, because my mom would make me take me to theaters to watch Chuck Norris movies on her own. So I would say probably at the age of 6, I got into Norris. Because if you remember, Flo, growing up, Channel 33 used to show those kung fu movies.
Yeah.
All the time, like every Sunday. And that's when I saw
best.
They were, right? Every Sunday. It never failed. Never failed. And that's when I saw Way of the Dragon with Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. And it was weird to me because he was a bad guy with a mustache. Yep. Yeah. So but that was my first connection. Then, of course, the Delta Force franchise. Oh, yeah. I went to see those in theater like I was like 7.
No, but I can't believe you brought up the people in the Sunday morning kung fu. That was like ritual for me.
Yeah,
dude, like that. I loved those. And then for me too was when he did the Bruce Lee. That's when he got on my radar. Yeah. What were those kung fu movies? Do you remember that one that was weird where the guy fought with his hair? Did you ever see that one? Yeah, I love the Drunken Master, the monkey guys, the snake style. Like, and I used to love, because I'd walk around the house, because you know how when they would fly, they'd make that sound like that. I would literally, as a kid, when I'd get up out of the couch, I would, and then Wu-Tang brought them back. Wu-Tang in their like music, they started bringing back the kung fu stuff, and you know how they had the voiceovers, people would move their mouth, and then you'd hear like a voice that didn't even match up with the guy that was talking in the kung fu. I loved all that stuff, man. I have to tell you, I was addicted to that stuff, dude. I was addicted. I can't believe you brought that up. I can tell you and I could probably talk for. I loved that stuff.
Oh my gosh! And you know the funny part is Bruce Lee hated those movies.
Did he?
He
I didn't
did.
know that.
He said there was no substance to them. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been him or Jackie Chan, one of the two. That's why Enter the Dragon has a plot line, like a long
Mm.
storyline. The same thing with Way of the Dragon with Chuck Norris. It has such a long plot because like I know Jackie was one that complained that he said that every movie was like, oh, you'll fight me, I fight you. Oh, it was just like, they're just for no reason they would just fight each other, you know. And I think that's one thing that bothered Bruce. You know, it's like it just made it look like all they did was kung fu and just yell at each other and fight. So that's why he started coming with more nuanced characters and Chuck, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and they were good friends, man. Chuck was a pallbearer when Bruce Lee died. He's the only American to be a pallbearer.
Dude, that guy's a legend, bro. That guy's a flat out legend, 100%. I'm glad you asked me to do that because I only had remember, and then I started listening to. I went in YouTube the jokes just to get back on it, and I was like, oh yeah, because I heard them throughout the years. I just forgot, you know, some of them, and I was like, oh yeah, like it's a really unique way to become like, I almost want to say like a statue in Hollywood, like that guy. And then I started thinking, I was like, let me ask Will, because I know Will probably knows more than me. Like, there's no American martial artist, better actor in the history of Hollywood that I can think of. There's just not.
Yeah, no, it's just him. It's just him. They tried with Michael Jai White, you know, who played Spawn, but he never, in my opinion, unless you really like those movies, you don't know who he is.
Level,
but Chuck was a household name. And I love Michael Jai White. The guy did 9 forms of martial arts.
Yeah, no, and he's a real one. Like he knows his stuff, by the way. Like that, like if you hear him talk about like the Steven Seagals, the Van Dams, the Jackie Chans and stuff like that, he knows his stuff, right? But I wouldn't put him at the same level as I'd put Chuck Norris. I would not.
No, definitely not. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, and Steven Seagal has burned a lot of bridges with a lot of people, so it's not somebody that it's not really that it's been a lot of bridges, you know, and he questioned everybody's style and stuff like that. And that's the one guy that Chuck never really liked very much. He had a good, and it's funny because people said he wasn't easy to work with. Van Damme is a guy that people said when he got famous, he wasn't the easiest guy to work with, you know, and him and Chuck were good friends. You know, dude, it was crazy.
You led with, I've never heard anyone say nothing bad about Chuck. To be honest.
At all. Everybody from and you got some people that I know his politics irk people towards the end because now they figure out, but like people that you know where they stand politically, no matter where they were, they all like the guy. Like even Stephen King, you know, who's gone at it with a lot of conservatives online, did a Chuck Norris joke, you know, on Twitter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. You know, so that says a lot, you know, about who he was as a person, you know, and it's a shame that the guy just 2 weeks ago was his birthday and he was sparring. You know,
that's crazy. Bro.
So, yeah, so I can't imagine, you know, what really caused, you know, him to die and stuff like that.
In Hawaii, right? That's where he was at.
Of all places, in Hawaii. Oops, my cable.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Rest in peace, big dog.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, Flo, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I know you're heading out to Alabama to go golfing, so I appreciate taking the time to talk to me as well. Do you have anything lined up soon that you want to plug on the show?
Oh man, I think I'm doing a couple more shows this week. I know. I'll give you one. I do a co-host of a show called College Football Express, and I can't disclose who, but we're gonna bring on one of the big time agents, and we're gonna ask him what's really going on because everybody's got rumors, you know, what's happening back there. So if you want to know what's going on behind the curtain, we're gonna have probably the best guy on, and people can come in the chat and ask him questions. I think it's gonna be Wednesday at 9 p.m. So if you guys are bored and you want to know a little more about NIL and what's really happening, I think we're gonna have a guy on that he really knows this stuff.
Sounds good, man. Good, man. Guys, check out Miami Flow, right? The Flow Network. If you want to hear some great content as far as Canes coverage goes, especially other guys on his channel as well. You got Miami Mayhem as well. Am I missing somebody on your
Maxed out?
Yes, thank you. I know I was missing one. Maxed Out as well. Cafecito as well. With John as well. Cafecito and Kane. So check out Flow, man. Great guy, great dude. A lot of insight. And thank you so much for the Chuck Norris jokes. I really appreciate it. I didn't realize you're such a big kung fu fan, man.
Dude,
You know, I can talk forever.
I love that stuff. I love that stuff. Like, absolutely, I feel like a little kid again. Are you kidding me? Because if you remember, what would happen is those would come on, and then it would be like Voltron, Thundercats, all in a row. Boom, 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 boom. See, I'm a nut.
Yeah. Before I got on the show, I watched Code of Silence on Tubi.
Wow, on Tubi. Tubi's got some sneaky stuff.
They have all his movies on Tubi. I saw Delta Force as an option. I saw I think Way of the Dragon's on there too. I also saw the one here with the dog. I forgot the name of it.
Well, you brought up Texas Rangers. I mean, I didn't watch all 8 seasons, but I would watch a lot of his stuff too.
Yeah. And again, going back to the sense of humor, like Conan O'Brien used to have a bit where he would make fun of the show, how exaggerated like some of the fight scenes were, where he would pull a lever and it would be like him, like, you know, flying off a parachute and jumping on a bad guy and stuff like that, something nutty like that. And Chuck, you know, went on, you know, the show playing off it, you know, the way he's exaggerated on, and pulled a lever beating up Conan O'Brien. So it was pretty hilarious.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
sense of humor. That's cool.
Yeah, he had a great sense of humor. Like I said, you know, like, and he told the troops in Iraq, he's like, "Hey, is it true there's a rock under your beard?" You know, in general, and he said, I forgot what he said, but something along the lines of, "No, I tried shaving my beard with a rock, but I think the rock would have cried or something like that. I don't know, something silly like that." He said, you know, to the troops over in Iraq when he went to visit them. Which by the way, he did quite a bit. Just to let you guys know, he was very much involved in visiting troops, and without cameras. By the way, they were filming him.
Awesome.
They were filming him.
He's legendary,
he is absolutely. Oh, before I let Flo go, I just have to make one more announcement before we go. I will be doing like I did last year, which will be Will and Friends, which is the Road to Spring Game as well, which is the week leading up to the Spring Game. I will be having some guests on, and we will be discussing, you know, basically what positions we want to see, who we think is going to stand out, and so on. So, Flo, if you're interested in popping on, love to have you.
Let me know, big dog. You know, your family to me and our network and the Canes. So whenever, bro, just let me know. I'm always available.
Thanks, Mac. Really appreciate it. Also, thanks to courtesy of Finn Sammy of Finn's TV. Go give him a like and a subscribe. All right, he helped me make some modifications to the logo, and I'll be introducing a brand new intro video as well, starting Monday of that week. All right, so there'll be a modification to the logo and a brand new intro video, courtesy of Finn Sammy out of Finn's TV. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Flo, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now if you like this content. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.